Here's an example of a question that's almost to the end of an AMC 10. Actually, it's important to know that if you are looking at an AMC 10, generally the questions that are towards the end are harder, but that's not always true. For this question here, I have an arch, which is made from 9 congruent isosceles trapezoids. What are the interior angles of the trapezoids? They're all the same. There are a number of different ways to do this question, some of which are significantly easier than the others. One of them is to say that this is 9 sides out of 18 sides, and you have a polygon which has 18 sides going all the way around, and you calculate each of these angles over here. That would be one way of doing it. Maybe I will actually mention what that works out to be, because the way that I would do it that way is with a trick anyway. So we'll do this in 2 ways. The first way is to count all the way around, and we have an 18-sided polygon, and I'm just going to emphasize this picture here. Okay? But all the way around, we have 18 sides on the outside. Whenever I have an 18-sided polygon, there's a very useful fact that if I want to know what is an exterior angle of this polygon, this angle is 360 divided by how many sides there are. Okay? This is roughly speaking because if you have an ant crawling all the way around, this is the amount it turns each time, and by the time it gets back to the start, it has turned 18 times and it has turned 360 degrees. But if I do this, 360 over 18 is 20, and if I know that that angle is 20, then I know what the other big angle is inside here. This big angle is 180 minus 20, which is 160, and therefore each of these is 80. And then we're basically done, because this is an isosceles trapezoid. Each of these are 80, and so since these two are parallel, these two angles add up to 180, and I have 80 and 100 as the angles inside the isosceles trapezoid. 2 80s and 2 100s. That's one way to do this problem. And to close, let me talk about another way to do it, which just looks directly at this picture. Another way to do this is to start from the center and connect this straight line and connect this straight line. And notice that these make straight lines all the way to the outside. Now, because I have 9 sides, and this is 180 degrees, this is a 20-degree angle right here. If that's a 20-degree angle, the same kind of calculation I did before tells me if that I have a triangle here, and in my isosceles triangle, they add up to 180, and so each of these is 80. Each of these is 80. 80 plus 80 plus 20 is your 180. And again you finish, because each of these is 100. And so in the end, what you find out for the answer to this question is that the interior angles are 80, 80, 100, and 100. Fairly straightforward, I'd say, for a question that's towards the end of an AMC 10. But do remember, the situation is that there are many different, very difficult questions or time-consuming questions also. And so, although some of them are easier than others, those are best done quickly and efficiently and correctly, if possible.